Alright, hello, I am Malkaya, and today in this video I'm going to talk about some fitness myths or just flat out wrong ideas when it comes to working out. This isn't really like a myth buster thing, but more of just general information for people that maybe don't have a whole lot of experience with lifting or just getting into it, which those are kind of the same thing, but you know. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So the first thing I want to address is the idea that there's only one certain way that you absolutely have to train your muscles or train cardio or do whatever, and there's only one exact way this is how it's going to be done or else it's not going to work. Don't listen to that. Throw that idea out the window. There's tons of different ways you can train and get similar results. Not the exact same, because you know, different training, different muscle groups, different connect, whatever, all that. But yeah. There's not one specific way you have to train, because I hear dudes being like, no, on legs you absolutely have to hit Bulgarian split squat, or you absolutely have to do REL, or you absolutely have to do lat pull downs, or close grip bench, and you get the idea. You don't, like, okay, all of those exercises there, good exercises, I recommend throwing every single one of them that I said in there, but it's not absolutely necessary. It's not going to make or break your lifting journey. Number two, we're going to talk about supplements, supplementation. So I'm going to just be real honest. The only two supplements I would recommend are creatine and protein powder, because pretty much just protein powder, a lot of us can't get the protein we need from our regular diet, or we just don't. Maybe not that we can't, but it's, you know, bad diet, whatever. So protein powder definitely helps, and creatine, you know, your body really just honestly needs more of it, and we don't really get that from the diets that we have. You can, I guess, if you're eating like tons and tons of steak, you can get that creatine, but it's, you know, creatine supplement is just way cheaper and way more efficient. Now the other ones, the fat burners, BCAAs, all that, not necessary at all. Fat burners, unless they're illegal, they don't actually do anything. BCAAs, I guess they technically work, but not in a way that's important enough to actually spend your money on BCAAs. If you don't have the money, I wouldn't recommend buying them at all, because every study I've seen says like technically they work, but they don't really do a whole lot if you're getting enough protein in already. You do not need supplements, by the way. You don't even need like creatine and protein powder. Supplements are not necessary. I want to make that very, very clear. But if you want to buy supplements and you have some extra money, go with creatine and protein powder. Next thing is the anabolic window. There's a lot of, I guess not misinformation, but just bad or false information, which I guess is misinformation, but you know, bad, false information about this. So you probably, if you're in the USA, you've heard anabolic window 30 minutes. You have to get your protein in absolutely 30 minutes after your workout, or else your gains are gone. Guys, that's not true at all. There's not a single study saying that. Every single study I've seen, the absolute lowest your anabolic window lasts is 24 hours, and I've seen the one I saw said the longest it'll last is up to 72 hours in inexperienced lifters. So like newbies and stuff, they last 72 hours for some reason. I don't know why. That's just what the study said. I'll link it below. Yeah, chill out. You don't have to be slamming protein shakes after your workout. I mean, unless you just want to, like you can, but there's also the concept of a bioavailability. So if you're down at like 1,000 grams of protein in this little time frame, it's not gonna be worth it, because it's just all gonna go to waste. That's another concept I forgot to talk about, was bioavailability. So when it comes to supplementation, all your supplements are supposed to be built around the concept of bioavailability, which is pretty much, can your body take in a substance and then actually use it? Because if not, there's no point to be supplementing for a certain chemical or macromolecule or whatever if your body can't actually use it. So then that's a waste of money and time. So for example, let's just say protein. Let's say protein. So if your body has enough protein already, or you ate a certain amount within a certain time frame, slamming down more is just going to be totally pointless. Because of bioavailability, your body already has all the stuff it needs, so it's just either going to be turned into like, I don't really know what happens when you have too much. I assume it just turns into fat or something like that. But yeah, don't be like overdosing on like zinc supplements or eating magnets to get your zinc in like that one guy. video description in the, nope, video in the description, I said that wrong, whatever. Anyway, yeah, so bioavailability, remember that term. The idea that muscles get you girls, they don't. I mean, they don't hurt, but they don't get you girls. Another big thing, making the gym your life, or making your life revolve around the gym, which, guys, like, okay, the gym is a really, really good habit to get into. It's really good, like, mentally, physically, socially, also. Great place to, like, meet people. And also when people see that you have muscles, it makes them think a little bit more highly of you, or think like, oh, this dude's probably responsible because he looks like, you know, takes care of himself, etc. I don't know why I say etc. or there was no. But yeah, so like the gym, really, really good habit to get into, really good hobby, you know, if you want to start weightlifting or something like that, or making fitness content, great, do that. But do not let it get in the way of other life experiences. Like if your buddies are going to hang out, but you really, really need to hit chest this week or else it's gonna whatever. No, dude, go hang out with your buddies. Okay, that's more important, because guess what? The gym and your pecs are always gonna be there unless you are in a terrible accident, but your buddies are not gonna be there always. Or your family. Your family's not always gonna be there, right? Gym and you are always gonna be here. Well, you're not always gonna be here, but you know what I'm trying to say. Family, friends, experiences, memories, they're not. So prioritize the fellas over the gains. Alright, biggest, probably most important thing I'm going to talk about is the idea that your diet really doesn't matter too much in the gym. So, that's probably the worst lie destroying everybody's gains. Imagine you're a skinnier dude, right? You're trying to lift and you've been hitting the gym every day, but you're not eating, or you're not eating properly. That's like if a construction worker made out a whole blueprint and then said, all right, I'm gonna start getting to work, but he doesn't have any resources. Or he has resources, but they're just crap resources, and when he builds the building, it falls apart. You would probably look at that dude like he's crazy, because he is, okay? If you wanna build a building or make a nice structure or whatever, you need resources, which is your diet, which is food, which I'll admit, I mess up on all the time. Hasn't been great recently. But I've been getting at least what I need to build muscle. So prioritize your diet. Also, real quick, I want to talk about the idea that the only thing that matters health-wise is calorie in, calorie out. Not true. It's a really big part of your health and weight loss journey, but also the quality of the stuff you're putting in your mouth is really important. If you're eating like always just super duper over processed food, or super processed, ultra, I don't know, whatever, however you say it, and you're never eating like just straight up whole foods, you're probably gonna die early even if you lose that weight. Maybe not as early, but the quality of the food you're eating is super duper important. Don't let Bill Gates tell you otherwise. Equipment. Oh gosh, that was terrible. Equipment, guys, you don't need, it happened again. You don't need super duper fancy equipment. You can literally, if you don't have any equipment, just do like squats or push-ups, or find a bar and do pull-ups or something like that. You don't need any of that stuff to get started. I literally started, for the last like 3 years, well, like 2.5, been using dumbbells, and that's it. And you know, it wasn't like the best thing in the world, but I at least built a foundation. And also like dumbbell stuff, like really isn't that bad. Bodyweight stuff really isn't that bad. You see calisthenics on YouTube and stuff all the time, and they're doing crazy stuff with only their body weight. And now granted, if you want to get big, like actually big, you really can't rely on body weight for that, but you can at least get a foundation for it. You can at least get healthy with just body weight, you know? So don't be like, oh, I don't have any gear, I don't have all this fancy whatever, that's why my triceps won't grow, whatever. No, dude, stop being a baby and get started. Alright, so training style. Once again, this goes pretty much with the first point I was making, but it all comes down to your personal preferences and your personal goals. So, for example, if you're trying to get big, like literally just put on as much mass and strength as possible, you probably want to go with low rep, a little bit higher weight, you know? And if your goal is like physique, you're probably going to want to do higher rep, a little bit lower weight, because that's your goals, or that's your personal training style, whatever. But, you know, end of the day, either training style is going to get you healthy, it's going to get you fit, as long as you're like keeping form. That's another big thing, keep form. You don't have to be like super duper strict with it, but try to, you know, Like if you're doing curls, try to not be like, ugh, you know. You can get like this would be good, or a little bit of swing, you know. That's fine, but don't like, you know what I'm saying? Keep form. All right, last big thing, comparison. This is the biggest, probably the biggest destroyer of like self-confidence and all that. Stop comparing yourself to dudes that have been on steroids for 10 years and are just absolutely jacked, even though you started 2 months ago and you're upset that you don't look like one of those guys. It comes with time, you know, and also they're on steroids. You're probably not gonna look like them anyway, and they wouldn't look like the way they do without steroids. But, yeah, stop comparing yourself to other people. Only compare yourself to where you were and where you are and then where you're trying to get, okay? And you can like look at people for inspiration, that's fine. But don't be looking at them being like, oh, why don't I look like that? I wanna... So use them, use other people, compare in the sense of like, that's what I want to look like, but don't beat yourself up that you don't look like them right now. Yeah, that was pretty much it. I don't really have much else to say here. Bye.